I am TheSqueakyMoose, and today we have a match from the Beelzemon Cup. It is Megidramon Mill versus Bagra Army. The Bagramon player hatches a Tokamon and then plays a Uemano, setting their opponent to 3. The Megidra player is going to hatch the BT5 Gigimon and Digivolve immediately into BT5 Guilmon. Before they Digivolve, they're going to hard play a Psychmon to prevent the reduction of play costs, and then they Digivolve into the Groundmon from EX3. The Bagra player is going to play the Chikurimon, use the on play to delete it, searching the top 5 cards of their deck for a Bagra Army card. They see a lot of good options to pick from, but they're going to choose to take the Bagramon, which I think is wise in this matchup. Then the Chikurimons on deletion will trigger, they get to save the card under U, and they will draw a card and gain a memory. You'll see that a lot with this deck. They actually get to draw a lot of cards, and the ability to gain that memory is going to enable them to choke their opponent to 1, and in response they're going to play a Gazimon. With the Psychmon and the Gazimon on the board, there's not a lot that the Bagra Army player is going to be able to do. So they Digivolve into Songbirdmon in Raising, and then they're going to hard play Mad Leomon Armed Mode, and that's going to be for the full cost of 6 because they can't reduce the play cost. The Megidramon player is going to Digivolve into Growlmon, so another Growlmon on the field. Its on deletion effect is not going to trigger, so both players trash the top 2 cards of their deck. Gazimon is no longer on the board, so memory gain effects are back in action. They play Iron Marco for 3, but they forget to use the on-play effect since it is a brand new card to them. The Bagra Army player is going to move out the Soundbirdmon and swing at security. They'll use the Soundbirdmons when attacking effect to put a Lilithmon under Uemano, which will draw them a card and gain them a memory, and also they'll draw a card from the Soundbirdmon effect. Soundbirdmon was deleted in security, so it will save under U. If they can get Psychmon off the board, they'll be able to reduce the play cost of one of their Bagra Army cards by a lot. Mad Leomon swings at security, and Matt is set onto the board. Lucemon is chosen to return to hand with Matt's effect. The Bagra Army player has had enough, and they were going to Astral Snatcher the Psychmon underneath the Growlmon. Growlmon Digivolves into War Growlmon. It's when Digivolving effect trashing the top 3 cards of both players' decks. This meets the requirement to be able to play a Guilmon from trash. Now they do activate the Iron Marco effect slightly late here, so they're supposed to do it when they're Digivolving, and then do this before all of the when Digivolving effects trigger. So they still draw a card, but then they do Iron Marco's effect, put a card in their hand to the top of their deck, and then gain 1 memory. Then War Growlmon's effect should have triggered, trashing the top 3, which would enable them to gain the memory from the Deathslinger. Instead they go into Megidramon, Digivolve, they then have to draw the card that they've just put on the top, and then they trash 5 from both players' decks. This doesn't really affect the game in the long run, but it's just interesting to note, and they do correct themselves later, making sure that they do it the right way round, the way that they want it. And they still see the Deathslinger anyway, so they still gain a memory. They're then going to choose to swing the Megidramon into Mad Leomon just to remove it from the board. They're trying to play defensively since they do only have 3 security left. Mad Leomon saves, and then you will gain a memory and draw a card. Guilmon is then going to Digivolve into Growlmon. This passes turn with the Bagra Army starting on 2. Player on the left then has a clarification about a card in hand. Tokamon is hatched. And Digivolves into Soundbirdmon. The Bagra Army player is then going to use effect, taking 3 of its sources and playing Bagramon. This reduces the cost by 6, so he's only played for a cost of 8. Bagramon's on-play effect then triggers, placing Megidramon under Growlmon. All the sources are sent to the trash. Then Bagramon's once per turn effect triggers and trashes the top card of security. Bagramon has really put a spanner over the works. We're going to have to see what the Megidramon player can do with 6 memory on their turn. They've moved out Growlmon, they Digivolve into War Growlmon, but this triggers the Bagramon's once per turn effect and trashes another card from the top of their security. They then use the Iron Marco effect, they draw from Digivolving, and then they place a card to the top of their deck from their hand, gaining a memory. Both players then trash the top 3 cards of their decks. Deathslinger will gain a memory, and Rival's Barrage sets in the battle area. War Growlmon then digivolves into Creepymon, but because the Bagra Army player only has one Digimon on the field, the Creepymon effect will not allow them to play a Digimon from trash. This might be what they were looking for because they wanted to be able to delete Bagramon or the U by playing Lucemon from trash. Creepymon swings its security, using the Growlmon inheritable to delete the other Growlmon to gain Sec +1. Because they have 20 cards in trash, when Creepymon swings, it mills the top 6 cards of the Bagra Army player's deck and gets plus 6,000 DP. Because of the Gigimon Egg inheritable, Creepymon is swinging its security for 19,000 for 2 checks. The turn order goes a little awry, and Deathslinger is played, targeting the Bagramon, which should be able to kill it, but we do the 2 checks first. Astral Snatcher is revealed as the second check, but because there aren't 2 Digimon in the field, it cannot get rid of the Creepymon. The Deathslinger is still played, and deletes the Bagramon. Creepymon might have stabilized this for the Megidramon player, but I have a feeling that the Bagra Army isn't done yet. Soundbird swings its security, using the effect to put a card under U. The last check was Wizardmon, and with that, the Megidramon player no longer has any security. Cherubimon is placed under U, gaining a memory, drawing a card. Soundbirdmon effect draws a card, and then Soundbirdmon saves under U. For those of you that have been playing this game for some time, you'll probably know what's coming next. Kaiserleomon digivolves on top of you and swings for game. This game was actually a lot closer than you'd think, because the Bagra Army player had a lot of cards in trash and they might have been close to decking out. We'll see what game 2 holds. The Bagra Army player is going to go first, and they're just going to not even hatch an egg, straight into Choo-Choo-Mon, searching the top 4 cards of their deck, grabbing a Bagra Army card, popping the others to the bottom. This is going to give the Megidramon player a lot to work with. Starting on 4, they hatch the Gigimon and digivolve into Guilmon. Guilmon then digivolves into Growlmon. And then they play a Psychmon from hand for 3, leaving the Bagra Army player with 1. They then play I and Mako, which is the memory setter. Make sure that they don't get choked to 1 in the future. Growlmon moves out from raising and digivolves into War Growlmon. Both players then trash the top 3 cards of their decks. Neither player has enough cards in trash though to be able to play a Guilmon from hand or trash. We could see a Megidramon come out here, but it looks like they might not have it in hand. They hard play another Guilmon. With Psychmon on the field, the Bagra Army player is going to have a hard time. They digivolve into Mad Leomon. They then play Buzzing Fist, which will reveal the top 3 cards of their deck, allowing them to grab one Bagra Army card, pop it into hand, and put another one under one of their tamers. The rest go to the trash. Mad Leomon swings its security, runs straight into Megidramon, and saves under the Iron Mako. With nothing really left in hand, the Bagra Army player passes turn. Gigimon is hatched, and digivolves into Guilmon. Guilmon then digivolves into Growlmon, which will trash the top 2 cards of both players' decks. Deathslinger gains a memory. From this angle we can see that there's a Creepymon, and he does digivolve into it, despite there not being any cards on the field to be able to trash and play something from trash. The board state right now very heavily favours the Megidramon player because they're going to be able to swing with Creepymon, trash cards from the top of their opponent's deck, delete a Digimon with the inheritable from Growlmon, get security +1, and then potentially trash more cards depending on what they've deleted. Meanwhile, the Bagra Army player has had to hard play Muso Nightmon for the full cost of 10 because Psychmon is still on the board. They do manage to get the Tawarmon underneath, which will mean they get to de-digivolve both the Growlmon and the Creepymon. But this is just going to stall the board for a little while longer until they can get another big stack going. I don't think that this was the right play, but maybe it was the only one they had. The Megidramon player is going to play Matt, which is going to allow them to bring back Creepymon into hand and just go into it straight away again. They will be able to trash 2 cards from their top of the deck, but this isn't enough to get the Creepymon effect. They don't have 20 cards in trash, so milling the Beelzemon Blast mode is not going to allow them to delete the Tawarmon. Creepymon swings its security, deleting Guilmon, which which will trash 2 cards from the top of each player's deck, gives +1 security to Creepymon, and now with 20 cards in trash, Creepymon will mill the top 6 cards of their opponent's deck. They might have missed that they needed to mill 6 instead of 3, but play continues anyway. Brutally, they're going to Deathslinger, the Muso Nightmon. This is going to allow the Bagra army player to get 2 purple Digimon cards back from their trash into their hand, but that level 5 I think was the setup for a Bagramon, which would have been instrumental in turning this game around. The Bagra army player plays Astral Snatcher. Because they don't have a Digimon or a Tamer with Bagra army and its traits in play, they shouldn't be able to do the effect to place a Digimon under another Digimon. They will still be able to get 3 Digimon from trash and pop them under one of their Tamers, but without you, that's not going to be able to net them a lot of benefits. Guilmon's already been set up in Raising, and Creepymon does a swing, using the Groundmon effect to get Sec +1 by deleting another Digimon, trashing the top 2 cards of the deck, doing 2 security checks, and trashing another 6 cards from the top of their deck because of the 20 cards in trash. We also see them hard play Lucemon, which is going to be able to delete Ai and Mako. Now the Bagramon player hadn't done any of their trashing, so this all had to go back and be calculated, so we're just going to pick back up from after they've done that. The Bagra army player moves out from Raising and then plays U, swinging with Sound Birdmon. They'll then use the when attacking effect to place a Digimon under U Amano, which will gain them a memory and draw a card. They do see Ai and Mako in security, which is going to allow the Megidramon player to search, but they don't see anything that they want to take. They're going to play another Buzzing Fist. They're probably looking for something that's going to be able to help them get out of this situation. A Bagramon would definitely help, but it might not win them the game. They take Muso Nightmon and put Troopmon underneath U Amano. It does feel like they're trying to get enough sources under U to be able to play something big like Bagramon for a reduced cost. We do see them Jack Raid, so they are going to go up another 2 memory, which gives them 6 to work with. And taking 2 of the sources from under U, they're going to play Bagramon. This reduces the cost from 14 to 10. Bagramon's on-play effect is going to put Creepymon underneath Lucemon, and all the sources are trashed. This triggers Bagramon's second effect, trashing the top card of security. Will this be enough to keep the Bagramon player in the game? Guilmon moves out from Raising and swings at security. The last check is a Choo-Choo-Mon, so Lucemon is going to be able to swing for game. Game 3 got corrupted, so I don't know actually who ended up winning, so let me know in the comments, who do you think won? Like and subscribe for more. We'll see you next time.